So I didn't really introduce myself very well today, but I am the host, Keith Mellingen. And what I'm going to talk about today is visual effects for 360 and VR using normal Adobe tools, which most of you artists have on your computer. So yeah, that's me. I work with directing 360 movies and create real-time experiences as well, and also work with 360 post-production. I've worked with Ali on a couple of 360 projects, and I've worked with Point Media on a couple commercial 360 projects. So two great companies I've been working with for the past 3 years. So the project I'm going to talk about today is a 360 video for Flåklypa. And I assume most Norwegians know what Flåklypa is. And if you're not Norwegian, this is like the most iconic stop motion animation movie that came out. I mean, the first one came out in the 70s, I think 70s. And now they've come out with a new movie that got launched in September, and the Blu-ray is coming in January, most likely. And right now in the room here, we have the director of photography for Flåklypa, Janne. So what Flåklypa, they're kind of innovative. They did great stop motion in the 70s, and what they wanted to do now is create a 360 promo video for showcasing their new film. And the way we're going to do this is they have, if you saw previously, there's a rocket, so they're going to try and shoot up to the moon. And what Flåklypa or microfilms wanted to do was they wanted to showcase the rocket, the cockpit, being inside the cockpit while it's going to take off. And the question is, how are we supposed to do that? This is the original set. So the set is actually split in two. So the cockpit is never actually put together. But for 360, since it's filming all around, we have to put the set together. And this is a miniature set. This is like, shrinking like Øystein wanted to do. And, 360 cameras can sometimes be big. It can be kind of clunky. So we needed something small, so we went for a consumer-grade 360 camera called the Ricotera, which costs around 5,000 crowns. And this is consumer-grade for creating a commercial, so it's not that usual, but we still wanted to try to do it. And we were able to do it. So I'm just going to show you the video, and then I'll discuss how the visual effects were done in the movie. So this is the first time I've done 360 in PowerPoint, so let's just test it out.
Dere befinner dere nå i cockpiten på raketten Apollo 1. Vi straks klar for å gi seg til månen, så ta en kikk rundt, se deg rundt, men ikke rør nå. Det ømfintlig teknikk om bord. Jøsse navn, hva det som skjer nå da? Rørte du nå? Nei, dette går den veien hønesparket. Du har tydelig sett i gang oppskytingen, og jeg på utsida. Men det ser jo ut som et vanlig rom, dette. Men bevars, hver skue mine uskyldsblå, og jeg som bare drakk jus til frokost.
Velkommen til Flåklypa, eller det hemmelige dokkefilmstudio der vi lager filmene om Flåklypa.
Lager Flåklypa? Hva ble det av raketten? Og jeg trodde vi skulle til månen, Rasmus.
Ja, altså Sola og Ludvig, vi skal til månen, og den filmen handler om det.
Nå begriper jeg ikke noe.
Kaja, dette har vi snakket om så mange ganger. Du er stemmen til Sola. Dette et dokkefilmstudio.
Jeg Sola når jeg skal til månen.
Nei, Sola skal til månen.
Hørte da blitt Rasmus. Nå tror jeg vi trenger noe sterkt i glasset, jeg vet to. Ete sant, Rasmus.
All right, so 50% of the video is purely visual effects, because we couldn't really do anything inside the cockpit. So it's basically actually just a picture taken from the inside, and like the rest of the story is built up digitally. That means the shaking, the smoke, the sound effects, everything is mostly digital to create the first part of the story, the part where the rocket is going to start shaking and go up in space. So the question is, how are we going to do that in 360? Because 360, okay, I'm just going to show you the original shot. This is with red light, smoke, and some graphics inside the screens. And that is the original picture. And 360 is a different format to work with. If you place, let's say, normal smoke graphics or stock footage or whatever in 360, it's going to start to deform when you view it in VR glasses or viewing it on YouTube. And the reason for that is because it's a sphere. You're actually looking into a sphere. So you cannot just place smoke and hope that it's going to work out. So you got to do something special with that. This is one technique onto how to put in graphics and visual effects inside 360. You can unwrap a sphere and make it into a cube map. And what the cube map does is that it gives you straight lines where you can then place normal surfaces. I mean the way you're used to doing. And you can easily do that by going into, what I'm using is After Effects. And you can use a tool called a VR converter, which then makes it into a cube map. So what I did when I worked on this production is that I exported this picture. I went into Photoshop, and I then cleaned up this part because this was open, and I added some some digital stuff into the screen so you get some livelihood. And then I went back into After Effects and I added the animated parts as well, because you can see in the screen. I mean, when Soran is talking, you can see the waveforms going around. But the next challenge part was smoke, because that was really something that I wasn't sure how to convey smoke all around the scene. Because I would think that, okay, if you're going to create smoke, man, that's going to cost a lot of stock footage, a lot of a lot of normal smoke footage, and put it together. I mean, that was the way I was thinking of doing it, or maybe filming smoke with a 360 camera. I wasn't really sure how we were going to solve it, but luckily, Adobe has something called fractal noise. So I don't know if you're familiar with a fractal. It's like kind of like a mathematical, I don't know, you can kind of control it and it looks like clouds. So what I did was that I used this tool and I added keyframes where it made it look like it was coming from a direction, but actually it's just coming, it's just going up. And that is the way we created smoke into the scene. There was a place where there was a stitching error and we had to hide it, and we used smoke to hide, so we used visual effects to hide the errors in the scene. So in that part, I added a lot more smoke layers and I masked it so that it would become like extra smoke on the opening, and also to get this sound, you know, because like in the script it was written like has to feel like a spaceship that's kind of detaching from each other. So these tools can be found in Adobe. We have VR fractal noise. For the shaking, I rotated the sphere, because if you're going to shake in VR, it's basically just a sphere. So in After Effects, you can put keyframes that says rotate this, rotate that during that time. So I rotate the sphere just a lot of times to make it look like you're shaking into the scene. So yeah, this is all available in Adobe, and you're welcome to come to my workshop later if you want some more in-depth methods to add effects to the scene. And creating visual effects for 360 movies really adds to the story, and you can create a story that you want to create.